Hello syntax lover. By the end of today's video, you will know what is called ternary or conditional operator, and you will also get an hands-on about the logical operator. The whole concept will be clear through the help of program. So let's move to our BlueJ, and here is our ternary operator. So let me open the editor. Yes, let me keep both the things side by side so that it's easy for us to execute. So what I have done over here, right at this line, you can see there are a couple of instance variable. Don't forget to prove the comment line in your program, instance variable. So these are my instance variable, and over here I have also taken another instance variable, but I have used the assignment operator. So this is called assignment operator. So I've assigned a value to this instance variable y. We have already seen prefix and postfix. Okay, so we are continuing even that also. In this program I am making use of both prefix and postfix operator, and at the same time I will be taking input from the user. So here I am going to take input from the user. So user input, you can say like that. So user will be providing the input, and we are using this args, this array, we are using it. So with this help of the array, I will be giving a value at the array first location, and that will be then typecasted, will be converted to the integer type, because you can see it's a string type. So you have to convert it to integer type, then only you can go for some kind of mathematical computation. And after converting it, I will be storing it in my instance variable n, and then I am going to execute this important statement. So what this statement is all about, here we are going to perform some decision making. What I am doing, I am doing some decision making, I am doing it. So based on the value that is there in one of the operand, I will perform some decision. So let's look at this particular segment. It is double equal to. So double equal to is actually referred as logical operator. So we are going for some kind of comparison. So we are comparing between two operand. So compare between two variables, or you can say as operand. So we are comparing. So what will be the value of n? Well, that depend upon what the user is giving. So whatever user will provide the value, that will get to in the variable n. And in regard to y, I have already assigned an arbitrary value called 5. So here we are comparing the user given input. Does it match with the value of y, that is 5? Well, either it can be true or else it can be false. So when you are going for some kind of comparison, you will be encountering either true or false. So in this decision making process, so either it's going to be true or it's going to be false. So if it is true, a particular segment will execute, and if it is false, another segment will be executed. So in case of conditional operator, there will be a decision making between two operand. The outcome of that will be either true or false. Okay, so that is what the thing is, that is what the ternary operator does. So we are going to compare between two variables, and the resultant will be either true or false. So in case if it is true, you will find over here an operator question mark has been given. So that means this is splitting a segment which is the comparison, and these are the two segment where if it is true, something is going to happen, and if it is false, something else is going to happen. So if it is true, if the value given by the user is 5, then this segment of code is going to be executed. And if the input which user is going to provide is not equal to 5, might be less than 5 or more than 5, then this segment is going to be executed. So you can say that this is going to execute if it is true, or this segment will be executed if it is false. Okay, and whatever situation will occur, Depending upon that, the computation is going to take place, and the resultant value will finally get stored in this variable, and that's what we are going to see right over here. So let's compile the program and let's see what happens now. So let me execute the program, and let's go for a value which is not equal to 5. So let's go for the value 6. You remember, whenever we take input through the help of string EXGS, since it's a string type, it should be wrapped within the curly braces within the quotation. Do remember this thing. That's how I have been showing all my programs, okay, before I move to the chapter where I will be taking input from the user in a different format. Okay, so the value which user has given is 6. So that means the n is going to have a value 6. So you know that 6 is not equal to 5. So in that case, this comparison is going to generate the value false. So in that case, what happens? This segment won't get executed. Rather, the value will come over here. The control will come over here. So can you predict what's going to be the output? Hey, are you sure? What would be the output of this? Think about it. If you are not sure, then I will tell you, check out my previous program on prefix postfix. Click the I button link right over here. Go through it, see it thoroughly, then come back to this program. So let's see what happens over here. So it's a postfix, and I told you, in case of postfix, the incrementation won't happen immediately. It will wait for its next statement. So right over here, I have given the value as 6. So at this segment, the n is going to have 6. So it will be 6 plus, here you can see there's a plus. So 6 plus, what will be the value of this n? This is going to be 7. So 6, so let me write over here, okay? So let me write over here for your understanding. The input which user has given, let me write the command line first. The input which user has given is 6. So now what happens? In that case, n plus plus will evolve to 6. 6 plus n, that will be the new value reflected over here, is going to be 7, and 7 plus y. What is the value of y? That is 5. So now I believe you can get the answer. So let me press the OK button, and here is the output. So 7 plus 6 is 13, and 13 plus 5 result into 18. Isn't this good enough? Okay, so that's how the postfix operator works. It will not increment right over here. It will wait for the next occurrence of n, and then it will increment. Okay, do remember about this point. Okay, so my input was 6, and we saw the output came 18 because this segment actually got fired since the condition evolved to false. Now let's go and do the same thing once again, and this time I'm going to give the value as 5 itself. Okay, so let me close and let me put a command line over here. Okay, and now let me come over here. I am very sure this time you can easily predict the answer. Okay, it's very easy. So let me put the value 5 over here, and now what happens? So over here 5 is equal to 5, the condition evolves to true, it will come to this segment, and here is the prefix, and you know that the prefix means the value will increment right on that segment only. So over here it is going to be 6, and 6 plus y, that is 5, so that means it's going to be 11. So let's go and check it out, and here is the answer, and you have rightly pointed out it's going to be 11. Okay, so that's how this is going to work. So in case of prefix, don't forget it will be incremented right over the segment only. So 6 plus 5 will be evolved to 11, and you have rightly pointed out. How was the program? I'm very sure that you must have liked this program. If you found this particular video helpful to you, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to click the like button, share among your friends, and increase the gang of syntax lover. Okay, thank you so much. See you in the next video. Bye bye.